make a move. Everybody say it, make a move. So at this point, maybe you're thinking to yourself, Michael, what? We know that you don't like Bernie Sanders over here on the left. We know you don't like Ayn Rand over there on the right. And we know you don't like the middle. Mr. Mediocrity is not a great evolutionary strategy. Well, who do you like? And there can, of course, only be one answer. That's Uncle Milty, Milton Friedman. I mean, seriously, just look at that face. He was smart, Nobel Prize in economics back in 1975, back when winning meant you had to be right about something. He was kind, founding the Milton and Rose Friedman Foundation, which has done so much great work. Milton Friedman had it all. And although the man himself passed away in 2006, his ideas are eternal. The amazing thing about Milton Friedman is that he was able to develop a thorough, fact-based philosophy that was impenetrable to rational argument and at the same time share a great deal of respect, admiration, and appreciation for people on the other side. Did he express frustration sometimes? Well, sure, who wouldn't? This guy was probably interviewed on live TV hundreds of times, but on balance, he did not blame politicians for being politicians, and he didn't blame government workers for being government workers. He realized, like Adam Smith, that people respond to incentives, and that if you set up an organization, any organization, with a funding source extracted and maintained by force, the primary mission of that organization must be to expand its mission, its sphere of influence, and its funding. This is human nature, and therefore, this is organizational nature. And this is not the problem. The problem is accountability. In the private sector, when customers express their displeasure, you change or you die. Quick, direct, easy, accountable. In the public sector, it takes years, decades, and sometimes literally an act of Congress to get these organizations to change course. Anybody got an iPhone? I don't have an iPhone, I'm too darn cheap. Anyway, but let's say that all Apple had to do in order to sell the iPhone was to get 51% of their users to say they wanted one. And by the way, let's say many of these iPhone users got their phones for free. If they got that 51%, then the other 49% would be required by law to buy iPhones, many of them at a premium. How good do you think these iPhones would be in 10 years? Milton put it this way: expecting a government organization to do anything other than preserve and expand itself is like saying, I'd like to have a cat provided that it barks. You are asking the impossible because you are asking something to act against its intrinsic nature. What Milton is saying, in essence, is that as soon as you start to play this game, you've already lost. In other words, the only winning move is not to play, or at least to play only on a very small field, one that is limited to protecting the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness of the citizens. Milton was full of great ideas, not just about how things should be, but how to get there. Take a look at his book, Free to Choose. Between this book and the TV series of the same name, he outlines logical, workable solutions to fixing our public schools, reducing the frequency of economic downturns, fixing Social Security, you name it, it's in there. He was a proponent of something called a negative income tax, which was designed to replace the current welfare system by encouraging work rather than discouraging it. This idea was implemented back in the 1980s. Milton's idea was to replace the welfare system with the negative income tax. Unfortunately, in a good example of no good deed, or in this case, no good idea, ever goes unpunished, we ended up, of course, with both programs and even more bureaucracy. Milton, maybe you were just too darn nice for your own good. I am totally kidding. You were perfect. We could use you today. We could use more people like you, Milton, who are going to use their genius for niceness instead of evil. Smart. Milton, very smart. Say nothing about it. You won't say nothing to me. You won't say nothing to